Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video, or I guess welcome to my next live stream, because that's what we're doing today. Yeah, today we got ourselves a nice live stream going on. This is our third of 9 for our 2,500 subscriber special, because we hit 2,500 subscribers. I know one person said they were going to unsubscribe because they don't like the live streams, I guess. So I guess we lost one guy, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not just gonna let myself get threatened into not doing live streams because one person, that's just silly. Yo, what's up, J-Not? Glad to see you. Welcome in. I'm assuming my audio is good. It's all the same settings I used last time for the most part. I say for the most part, I did change one thing about my setup, but you know, it's not that minor, but I'm sure it's a little bit noticeable. But yeah, everything else is pretty much the same. Just hanging out. Yeah. Everyone's doing well, and yeah. So yeah, we're doing our same old Q&A live streams. Got the Complete Warrior here. We got a ton of other books. This is just the one that I've been making my feats out of lately. I think I've done 3 so far, but it's the one I'm working on now. I just started last week or something. So yeah, just hanging out. If anyone's got any questions, anything they want to talk about, open floor, just like all of these. We're just hanging out. That's really all it is to it. Chance to hang out, talk D&D. Yeah. Are you only a 3.5 player, or are you gonna play any new ones? I played 5e. It's all right. I played GURPS 4e, which is actually pretty fun. I like it quite a bit, actually. It's completely different than D&D, but it's a pretty fun little system there. I actually rather enjoy it. It's hex-based, and it's all based on I don't know. You get different stuff. Basically, it's not level-based. You get points, and then you can buy various different things with your points, like ability improvements and skills and all sorts of stuff. So, excuse me. Daggerheart, Deathbringer, Borg, Drow-Steel. Haven't played any of those. I haven't even heard of most of those. I'm assuming those are all systems, but not super familiar. But yeah, yeah, we're just hanging out as per always. Yeah, got a few things going on. Trying to make the background a little bit more interesting this time. Hopefully, it doesn't cause me any problems. But Deathbringer is from Professor DM. I don't know Professor DM. Let me look that up. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Let me figure out who that is, Peter. Professor, Dungeon Master. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. Seem cool from what I can see. Yeah, not familiar with him, but he's been going for 10 years. He's old school like us. Nice. 3.5 will never die. 100%. What's that? Bunker. Nice. Yeah, I agree. 3.5 will never die. I plan on keeping it going as long as I'm able to. So yeah. It's a great system. Love D&D 3.5. Yeah, it's by far my favorite system out there, and yeah, I mean, that's what I make my content on. I don't plan on switching to 5e. The closest I plan on doing with 5e content is, my videos comparing 3.5 to 5e, and my videos explaining why 3.5 is better than 5e, and teaching 5e players how to play 3.5. I do that a lot. Those seem to do really well too. Because I see 5e as kind of like a gateway to 3.5 for a lot of people. So, 5e is not bad. It's just, I don't know, it's not as good. It's kind of like a watered down 3.5. That's how I see it. Brilliant. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, that's just kind of my way to. It's one way to try and grow the channel because obviously I want to do that as a content creator, and also try and grow the game because I love 3.5. I'd love to have more people playing it. Also, that helps more people watch my videos too. So win-win. So yeah, I don't know. I just love 3.5. It's just so much more involved and engaging than 5e. Like 5e doesn't, like the fact that they changed prestige classes into subclasses. I'm not a fan of how they did it. I get why they did it. Like, it makes it simpler. It's easier to deal with that way because it's just built right into the class. And instead of like figuring out how and if you're going to prestige class, you just kind of have a choice of which options you want to go with. One being basically not prestige classing, and then the others all being taking various prestige classes effectively. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like the 5e monk, like the way of the open hand, I think is what it's called, is basically just regular monk, whereas all the other ones are prestige classes effectively from 3.5. So that's just kind of how it's set up. So yeah. Am I on Reddit? I am. I'm not very active on there, but I do have a Reddit. How would I improve 3.5? I have some ideas on that. Actually, one thing I would do is it's a whole thing. There's nothing like major that I would do. Mostly, sorry, I have to just realize my Discord is. I'm just going to set my Discord to do not disturb real quick. There we go. So I'm getting notifications on here. Anywho, well, how would I improve it? So basically what I would do is I would just kind of go through a lot of the feats and a lot of the classes, and I would just kind of tweak most of them. A lot of the older feats, or not the older, like a lot of the melee feats and stuff like that, I would probably make better because there's a lot of feats that really are nowhere near as good as they could be. Like, they're super underpowered. So I would buff a lot of feats to make them more relevant. And then some of the really good feats, I'd probably nerf a bit too, because, they're maybe a little bit too good, to try and keep everything in line. I kind of try and do a lot of that with the various classes as well. Trying to figure out how to nerf magic. That would be a whole thing. I'm not sure what the best method to nerf magic would be, because that's a whole thing. I've thought about trying to do something with 24 levels or 25 levels instead of just 20. And, maybe if you had more levels, and it took all of those levels to gain 9th level spells, so that your spell progression hits slower. That might help with nerfing magic to make it, less viable compared to the martial options. So that's one idea. I don't know if that's the best idea or not, but yeah, making it so that just slowing the progression of magic might be one way to do it. I agree. Let's see. I see it. I did a diluted crunch. Your videos helped me create some cool characters in the past. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. MF. Appreciate that. Are you on Reddit? Oh man, I missed that before? That's crazy. Hyping me on the 3.5 forum. Appreciate that, Janot. That means that does mean a lot. I really need to get on there more and promote my stuff there. Yeah. I would consider prestige classes for 5e the most, for the most part, and add 10 level master classes. Have growing feats. I'd make every capstone crazy powerful, hyper useful. Yeah, that's definitely something worth doing if you're going to be taking that route. Yeah, having really good capstones, yeah, that can be very helpful. Although I will say for full classes, having capstones in 3.5 isn't really like I don't think that's the way to do it, because you're talking about 20 levels, and if you go full 20 levels into a class, the benefit isn't like there is benefit already, not in the form of a capstone of the class, but in that if you continue into epic with just one solid class, you start getting like a bunch of you start taking epic levels of it, which does require 20 levels of non-epic in order to do. And those epic classes, they all have a lot of epic bonus feats, which is really good. So they're getting epic bonus feats, anywhere from every other to every fifth level, depending on the class. Like fighters get it every other, a lot get it every third or fourth level. Some only get it every fifth. But those epic bonus feats that they get, that's really good because those epic feats are. All right, I am back. Sorry about that. Live stream fail, I guess. Freaking internet cuts out. Trying to set that up for the background. It was set up, but then the power kicked out and that messed everything up. So sorry about the power blip there. My bad. Definitely did not intend for that to happen. But we're back, so that's something. Let's see. I would condense prestige classes to 5 for the most part and add 10. Oh, yeah, we already did that one. Love the builds, Mitch. Appreciate that. Was it? I don't know if you're still here since the power went out, but Key Neculaver House. Love the builds, Mitch. My little brother is trying out that incredible kaiju build. Very sweet. Appreciate that. Those builds are a pain to make. They take a lot of work, but I do rather enjoy making them, and I'd really like to make more of them. They take a lot of work to do. Yeah, and I probably should do more on like making it easier for people to actually build the builds after I made them. Trying to get that set up so you have some decent background. But definitely appreciate that. Let's see. Can you come with the storm? What's up, Covenizer? I don't know if you're still here or not, but yeah. What do you think about Master of Many Forms and the Shifter classes? I'm not super familiar with Shifter itself, but I know Master of Many Forms, and it's an interesting one. The downside is it's best for like a druid, and you lose out on the spell casting, so that kind of sucks. But you get some really cool stuff, and it's a really fun one. I think it would do really well on like a Wild Shape Ranger because you don't have the spell casting anyways, so you're not losing as much by taking it. So yeah, I think that could be really solid. So I'm trying to get everything set back up to how it was before the freaking power went out. It blipped out like what, twice on me, I think. And when it was blipping out twice, it took a while for the internet to come back up. It took a while. It took a second for my computer to come back on. My TV still hasn't come back to show my videos in the background. So that kind of sucks. But things happen. It is what it is. Nothing I can do about it, really. So, Bleach D20 classless. Bleach D20 classless is a free fan-made system based on 3.5. It's pretty cool. Nice. Yeah, that's really cool. I could, like, I have freaking Death Note on the playing in the background there. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but that didn't cut out for more than a second with the power. That came back up instantly because it's not connected to the internet in any way. It's all like very isolated to that little table there. But everything else is taking forever to come back online, unfortunately. Like, maybe this will work this time. So I'm just trying to get things set back up. Hey, it's actually working. Oh my lord. What are the odds? Just give me a sec. I'm just trying to get this back set up. I had it set up beforehand. I promise you I did. It was, but then the power went out and it killed everything. So that sucks. All right, that should get it back. I shouldn't have to fiddle with things anymore. Yay. Yeah, but yeah, on that TV, I could put bleach on. It would take like 2 seconds to switch it to bleach from Death Note. But yeah, here in the northwest part of the left coast, I don't see thunderstorms anymore. Fair. I am out on the west coast as well, and I'm not the west coast, a little bit inland. But yeah, there's thunderstorms right now where I am, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah. Anywho, sorry, I just got a little bit razzled by the whole thunderstorm freaking, messing with everything. Yeah, power I dimmed for a second, I think. It is what it is. Hopefully we stay stable. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'll probably go a little bit longer to make up for the time it was down from the power outage. That's kind of my plan. Just because, yeah, assuming things don't get worse, which they very well could. Fingers crossed things don't get worse and we don't have more power blips. There still are thunderstorms going out there. Yeah, I'm not hearing any big ones, but yeah, it's certainly a possibility. Remember the warnings about lightning and land phone lines, at landline phones. Yeah, I do remember those, and that is a real thing. I got my degree in electrical engineering. I'm well aware of how lightning can travel and what could be a risk and what couldn't. Right now my biggest risk, which isn't huge, would be basically my tower computer, which is like right next to my leg, exploding and damaging my leg. That's my biggest risk from the thunderstorm. It's not that high, and honestly, I'm more in that situation. I'd probably be more concerned about my tower. That's pretty expensive. Yeah, hard to say. I mean, my leg's also pretty important, so just depends on how bad things get messed up. But I don't think that's particularly likely. There's a lot of safety systems in place to prevent anything like that. But yeah, other than that, there's really nothing that it could really get me, unless the lightning somehow arced in through the window. But there's so many things that would be easier path than me, most likely. So yeah, I don't really see any real risk. But yeah, I do remember the landlines. That's because it could potentially hit like a wire nearby and then potentially travel into the phone and through your body, and that could potentially be the path of least resistance for the lightning strike. So yeah, that's a real thing. It's much less of a thing with digital communication or wireless communications and stuff. So like, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I do remember that. I'm old enough to remember the landline days. That takes me way back. I mean, we use landlines forever, but like, when I was real little, we didn't have cordless phones. That wasn't really a thing that they might have existed, but they weren't something that me and my family had access to. Not when I was real little. I was, somewhat old before that happened. Like, I don't know, like 8 or something. So, yeah, I kind of remember those days. But yeah, sorry, a little distracted by these freaking storms, and I do know a thing or two about electricity. So, yeah, although most of what I said is pretty basic and really doesn't require my degree at all. Yeah, like I could go into the various safety systems that are in place, but that would kind of require my degree. But yeah, aside from that, no, I don't really feel like going into it. That's probably would bore you. As a child, I hid from lightning under tables and behind doors. Um, Under tables might be okay. Behind doors, that's not going to help much at all. You're not going to want to be close to the doors. Being under a table could help because that, um, yeah, the legs could, especially if it's, ironically, if it's a metal table, that's even better, especially if it's got like metal legs. Like, ironically, one of the safer places to be is inside a car during a thunderstorm. Like, your car is fairly likely to get hit, but the lightning should spread around you and not hit you. Like, it'll just hit like the frame of your car and go into the ground and won't actually pass through you. Um, I mean, it could, given various different circumstances, but more likely than not, unless you got something really weird going on in your car, it's pretty safe to be inside a car during a thunderstorm. Um, yeah, maybe don't park it in a lake or anything. That's probably a bad idea. And maybe don't be touching your hands to the roof. Yeah, that's probably a bad idea. But yeah, uh, yeah, try and use your right hand. Lefties are a little more susceptible. Um, your heart's on your left side, so if electricity goes in through your left arm, more likely to get you. So, just a thing. Anyways, D&D. I got the Complete Warrior here. I personally would just rather not talk about that, especially considering, yeah, it doesn't bug me as much as a lot of people probably would, but yeah, um, there's some cool classes in the Complete Warrior. I grabbed it mostly because that's what I've been working on for feats, but like, there's some really fun classes, like, um, like some of the best barbarian classes, surprise, surprise, are in Complete Warrior. Might want to grab Stormwrecked. I have Stormwrecked. I get the joke, but I do indeed have that book and can grab it. Wow. Do indeed own it. So yeah, that's a thing. I haven't looked at it too closely, to be honest, but I do have it. Mr. Rico also have Complete Warrior. Nice. I don't know who this Mr. Rico person is, but yeah, I don't know if that's like a character or what. I haven't really explained that, but yeah. Oh, Bear Warrior here. That's a really good one for freaking barbarians. Generally, you would need to pair it with grabbing something like Cerulean Arms and having like a mage friend that can cast that on you every time, or just be a mage, or just like have it cast on you permanently or contingently when you transform. That way you can hold an axe while in bear form, so that you're a bear with 2 freaking gorilla arms sticking out of your shoulders with holding a big old axe, which sounds kind of terrifying, and would do an absolutely stupid amount of damage. But yeah, very strong, especially if combined with like enlarged person. You can get stupid damage real fast. He's part of my D&D group. Oh, nice. Player, character, I'm not sure. I'm assuming he's an actual person and not just a character, since I don't know how a character would own a book. The class is in Complete Warrior Week. The section on Fantasy was neat though. See, here's the classes. I think yes, the prestige classes. Some of them are weak. Some of them are stupid OP. Because this was like one of the first, if not the first, Splat book in 35, and because of that, it's not very well balanced. There's a lot of really underpowered stuff, and there's a few stupidly overpowered stuff, like this hulking hurler here. I would hardly call that weak. I mean, they gain the ability to, if you take this hulking hurler and really optimize it with strength and size and everything, you can just throw the freaking moon at people for 5 quadrillion damage. And by quadrillion, it's not even that. Like, we're talking like 10 to the power of 42 or some crap. Like, it's a stupid amount of damage. It might even be way higher than that. But yeah, like, it's astronomical how much damage you can do. And the numbers make sense, but like, yeah, throwing the moon is crazy. Yeah, he is working at a school as a janitor, and he drives a school bus. Cool. That's cool, man. But yeah, hulking hurler, definitely not weak. Definitely not underpowered. Overpowered, if anything. I mean, obviously some glaring weaknesses. I mean, they just throw stuff, but they can throw some really big stuff for some really big damage. And it's not really capped. And the damage increase isn't, it doesn't follow a linear path because it's based off of carrying capacity, which carrying capacity is not linear. It goes up, but it doubles every time you get 10 more strength. So you can get some pretty stupid numbers. I picked the Mage Killer as more OP Mage Killer. Really? What I remember, it's been a while since I've looked at Mage Killer, but I don't recall that one being super OP, or maybe it's not. Well, it's not Complete Warrior. I can tell you that. Either that or it's called something else, because I'm in the Complete Warrior, and there is no Mage Killer. Yep. Look at all the M's, no Mage Killer in there. Might be more OP, but it's a different book. But yeah, it can parry spells. I think I remember it, but I don't know. From what I understand, it was really weak in that, like, what it gets isn't good enough for what they're going up against, from what I remember. I think I covered that a while back, and I don't recall it being particularly good, but I could be wrong. Parrying spells, sure, but like, yeah, I think that there's a lot of heart. Like, it's not a very easy thing to parry a spell, from what I remember with it. Like, there's so many like requirements and checks, and I think there's like a limit on how many times per day you can do it or something. And like, what if they're not what if they don't cast spells? Like, what if somebody comes at you and they're not a mage? Then you're pretty much, worthless. Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird one, because like, even if it is like super good against mages, it turns it into like, okay, well, it beats mages, but it loses to any martial class, like, hands down. I don't know. It just didn't seem great, in my opinion, and from the opinion of the people I've spoken to about it. True, but there are more pairing opportunities than loose moons to throw. That is true. There's not that many moons, but I mean, you can throw mountains and stuff for pretty good damage, or cows, which would do decent. You can find things to throw, like just big rocks, and just carry a bunch of giant rocks in your pack. It's an option. Could always grab the YouTube meta and be like, I got a bunch of tungsten cubes hanging out in my backpack, and I'm going to throw them. It's like, okay. Or I guess tungsten spears would probably be a better option, but like, or I guess you could go adamantine to be more in line with D&D. Then just throw a big heavy, just throw a big heavy thing at them, and it does big damage. Yeah, the amount of damage it does get crazy. But the problem is, you're only able to, like, if you're doing ammunition that is as big as you can throw, you're only able to carry a few of them, like very limited ammo, because you can throw close to your carrying capacity. So, yeah, so if you'd have to, like, hold some, if you want to have a decent amount of ammo, you'd have to, make a lot of it lighter and therefore weaker. So that's a thing. Or maybe you have a mage companion that's altering the weight of these things. I mean, I guess that could be a thing, but that just requires a whole extra step of having a mage companion. And, it just adds a whole lot of complexity that, like, Hulking Hurler has some serious logistical issues. They're good, but the logistics of, like, actually playing the class is really complex and makes it much more difficult to play. So that's a thing. So yeah, and I get what you're saying about that. Like, it can just be stupid OP. Like, some classes, like, some of the stuff in there is really good. Like, Bear Warrior is a really good prestige class for a barbarian. Like, if you combine it with Garulian arms in order to have arms to use an axe with it, it gets really good. And Frenzied Berserker, it's another amazing one. It's got some major downsides for a player to take, but it's really good for a DM to put on, an enemy boss. The downsides of, if they win the fight, they turn on their allies some of the time. Okay, that's really not that big of a downside for an NPC. Yeah, it'll shape, like, the logistics of it and be like, okay, that maybe their followers aren't as loyal as they otherwise would be because they're scared of their boss, that their boss might turn on them, because he often does. But aside from that, it's not going to affect things too much. And even as a player, you can make it work. I've seen it work as a player. But the Hexblade is almost a cool class. I like Hexblade a lot, but I do hear what you're saying. What is it? I believe Hexblade actually, it is a good dip class. It's a good dip class, but it's not that amazing otherwise. Getting 3-level dip is pretty solid. Let's see. Yeah, 3-level dip is actually genuinely pretty good. Getting Arcane Resilience at level 2, really good. And Metal at level 3 is extremely powerful. So this is a really good dip. It's commonly dipped with Paladin. Like, if you do a Paladin of Tyranny or a Paladin of what's the other one? Destruction, I think. So if you do a Paladin of Tyranny or Paladin of Destruction, combo that with Hexblade, and combo that then with some Blackguard, you can get some pretty freaking good characters. The amount of charisma stacking to all your saves, and the fact that you don't like, if you succeed on your save, you don't take any effect. That's really good. And by having Metal, it's not just reflex, it's fortitude and will as well. And effectively adding triple charisma to all of your stats. Very powerful. Yeah. So you get triple charisma to all your saves, and if you pass your save, nothing happens. Very, very good. Now for triple, it's only against spells and spell-like abilities, because the Hexblade one doesn't apply to other stuff. But I mean, double is plenty for stuff that doesn't have that. Like, who cares? You're not going to be getting like traps and then like non-magical, like you're not going to be doing saves that are really high DCs unless they're, you know, as a result of a spell or spell-like ability. At least usually, it's pretty rare that you have that. Like, you know, usually the ones that aren't spell-like abilities or spells tend to be lower DCs. Not always, but more often than not. You know, so I don't know. It's just it's a pretty solid combo there. A little bit of cheese going on with that. A lot of charisma stacking, but you know, that's always fun. I played Warlocks. Hexblade seems good, but Duskblade is better. Duskblade has some serious good stuff. Hexblade, it's good for a dip. 3-level dip is really good for Hexblade. It just is. Especially when you combine it with Paladin, like the evil Paladin versions. And even more if you combine it with Blackguard. And you make a charisma build. Maybe after you've taken all your dips, then you can maybe go Warlock or something, because this is a charisma class. Honestly, on a build like this, even dipping 2 and Wilder isn't terrible, because although it doesn't give a whole lot, 2 and Wilder would let you add that charisma to your touch AC. So that's something. Is it worth 2 from Wilder? That's pretty questionable, but it could very much be worth it for Hexblade. This could also be really good if you wanted to do like a Geomancer kind of thing. Especially if you add like a couple more levels. You can make it so that, you know, maybe you take a couple more levels of Paladin, a couple more levels, like another level or 2 of Warlock, and not Warlock, Hexblade. Then you could grab Geomancer, and yeah, that could have some advantages if you like start going into Sorcerer and then just make it so that you know, you can cast your Sorcerer spells without having all the restrictions. It can be good. There's ways to make it work. It's a little complex, but there's absolutely ways to make this work. I would have liked to see the Hexblade come out after a few Splat Blades. Yeah, that's fair. But you absolutely could make it work. Like 4 Hexblade, 4 Paladin, 4 Hexblade, 4 Paladin, 2. What's that word I'm looking for? Said it like 5 times already. Blackguard, and then grab and then grab like 1 level in Sorcerer, and then just go 10 levels into Geomancer. Although I guess you'd only get 9 by the time you hit level 20, but you know, at the same time, by doing that, it's like, okay, well, now all of a sudden I'm able to cast some decently high level spells while wearing armor and stuff. So it has its advantages. Are we talking about an amazing build? I mean, it's got its pros and cons. But it's not the worst build in the world. Decent number of iteratives. You can wear like full plate armor while casting all your sorcerer spells, so that's kind of nice in all honesty. You know, it's got its advantages. It's got some heavy disadvantages too. Yeah. Yeah, but there's definitely some good stuff with it. You know, having metal and grab a ring of evasion, so you have evasion as well. Although you might actually even just get evasion from Duskblade, or not Duskblade, Blackguard. Can't remember. Yeah, can be very solid. Not necessarily the greatest thing in the world, not necessarily the worst. There's all sorts of interesting builds out there, like for real. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we're just kind of talking about whatever you guys want to. I've noticed hasn't been as much chatting lately, but is what it is. Freaking Storm Rack. I do still have Storm Rack sitting here. I haven't looked at this much, to be honest. Interesting. Got some cool prestige classes in here, it looks like. I'm just kind of looking through it while I see if anybody has anything they want to talk about or discuss or anything. Quark, elves, humans, bards, their captain. How about diamonds being necessary for all raised dead spell? Why is the economy not worked? That's an interesting question. Yeah, because it does require them. Although I don't know how true it is, but I have heard that it's a focus and you don't actually use them. But I don't know if that's true. But I went with it because it was to my benefit in the game, so I just all right, whatever. Yeah, that is a good question though. There are ways to make it as a focus, even if it isn't. But that requires, more resources. Like, I know if you have like a natural spell, it does require a lot of feats to be able to do that with a raised dead or a true resurrection. Can be done, just needs a few epic feats in order to have a for true res, a 17th level spell slot to give up for that. And then you'd also need, a ton of diamonds. It's doable. Not easy, but it's doable to avoid an immortal elite. I house rule the diamonds to just make the spell more accurate. That's not a bad way to do it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe diamonds are not as rare in this world or in the D&D world. I don't know. Maybe someone's figured out how to use magic to make diamonds, which isn't a crazy thing considering we make diamonds using machines quite often. We've gotten pretty good at it actually in the recent years. That cubic zirconium I think might be that might be something different. I don't know. I'm not a huge expert on diamonds, but I know we can grow lab-grown diamonds pretty easily. I saw a YouTube video on it recently that was talking about how much better we've got at making lab-grown diamonds. And, they're useful for a lot of stuff. In the jewelry industry, less so. But that is starting to change. But, diamonds are used for drill bits and stuff. And nobody cares if they're real diamonds or not for your drill bit. Who gives a crap? So people usually use the lab-grown ones that are way cheaper and ethically sourced. So that's a thing. It can be done, but it ain't easy. Yeah, that's true. Even in the real world, it's not easy to make a lab-grown diamond. That's not an easy thing to do, but it can be done. So yeah, that is a thing. Yeah. Lab-grown diamonds definitely a very real thing. What else do we got? What else can we talk about? So I don't know how that works, but I guess death is. I think the logic is that death is somewhat permanent, and that people aren't usually reviving people. It's just not a thing that is usually happening. Typically, death is permanent. Now, there are ways to do it without the use of diamonds, like Revivify and Revivify. That's a good one. The problem with Revivify is You have to have a really fresh corpse. And by really fresh corpses, I mean you literally have to use Revivify on the first opportunity available, or else it's been too long. If you don't cast Revivify the very first turn that you get after that person goes down, tough luck. They've been dead too long. That's how fast that one is. It's literally just one round, so you don't have long. But if you can get to the corpse literally right after it dies, yeah, that one doesn't really have any real cost to it. But yeah, that one is a whole thing. I'm sure a diamond crafter would be a strange prestige class. Yeah, well, you don't need like. Yeah, I mean, I guess what you mean with like creating diamonds from like dirt or from like coal, I guess would be the way to do it. That would be a kind of a weird thing to do, but yeah, I don't know if it'd be a prestige class. I think it'd be more like a spell, and I don't know. I'm not even sure what kind of level that spell would be, but yeah, I imagine it could be done, and I don't know. I'd probably just do the math to figure out like how much a diamond costs, and be like, yeah, this probably this spell's probably uh, costs maybe half that to pay someone to cast or whatever. I don't know, something like that. Gentle Repose is a super useful spell, not just for corpses. I'm vaguely familiar with Gentle Repose, and yeah, it is quite good from what I remember. Um, and yeah, not just for corpses, but it does, I think, help slow down how fast people die, like if they're dying and stuff. Like I think it slows like disease, and it slows like how much damage you take. Like it doesn't heal you at all, but I think it like makes it so that there's more time between taking damage. I can't. It's been so long since I looked it up, but yeah, uh, it is a good spell though, from what I remember. I'm trying to remember where that's even from. Let's see. Looking it up right now, so that I'm not just talking out my butt. That I'm actually like know what I'm talking about. Cleric. Oh, that's not even that high of a little spell. Well, I will when the ad goes away, because there's a fun ad blocking the whole left side of the screen, so I can't read it. But yeah, food, alchemy, reagents, nothing goes bad ever. Ooh, interesting. That is kind of nice. I mean, you could always just create food and water and stuff like that's not too hard to do once you get some moderately leveled magic. Like it doesn't even take that much, but yeah, the ad went away and then another one popped up. God. I do not necessarily like this. Like the site is great, but there's so many ads and they're literally intrusive, and they make it like actually unusable, which is kind of a problem. Like I'm just at D&D Tools, and okay, oh no, it went away for a second, only for another ad to pop up that also blocking part of the screen so that I can't read what it's saying. Yeah, it's really annoying. There's no X button on it, so it's just kind of there. The technical term is enchinification. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of true. Well, if I put it on my other monitor, I can see it, but on this monitor, now I got an X button. Let's see, preserve the remains of the dead creature so they do not decay. Doing so effectively extends the time limit on raising that creature from the dead. See raise dead spell. Days spent under the influence of this spell don't count against the time limit. Additionally, this spell extends. Okay. The spell also works on severed body parts. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and it's not too high of a level spell. Um, let's see, what's the duration? 1 day per level. That's not bad. And yeah, it could even work with like Revivify because it effectively just pauses the counter um, on the death token. So yeah, that's not bad at all. In all honesty, so if you cast Gentle Repose on someone immediately after death, then before the spell ends, somebody could cast Revivify. That would work as long as Gentle Repose was still in effect. Um, yeah, Gentle Repose would have to be cast immediately. If Gentle Repose waited even one round, then there would be too much time that passed with natural decay for Revivify to work. But that would work. I use it to enchant containers for food storage. I can even make it cold for ambience. That's cool. Yeah, and I suppose it would work on food since food is technically living. So yeah, it should work on that. Do I think it's the best way to do it? No, there's probably more efficient spells to do that. Like you could probably make a preserve food and drink as a lower level spell. But yeah, not bad. Which this is second level, so like preserve food and drink as a first level spell would probably make sense for someone to create. But yeah, it's not a bad option at all, and it would work. Uh, no, it halts biological decay. That is awesome. It is awesome. It is indeed. Matthew Sarens, what do you like about skunks? What do you mean about skunks? Not a huge fan of skunks, to be honest. They smell real bad, but they're not the worst thing in the world. They actually do get kind of a bad rap. But yeah, I don't know. Not the biggest wildlife fan, unless you're talking about skulks. Because that's what I first read. Just because, yeah, it's an interesting class, or not class, race. And weirdly, it's the first one that I worked on for improving my thumbnails. I had a friend help me with that. So skunk, yeah, it does stick out for that. Skunks are pretty cool animals. Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm not the biggest animal guy out there, but teach their own. It's just not my thing. Um, I don't know. I'm a big fan of the great indoors. Uh, kind of scared of a lot of animals, in all honesty. Cats and dogs, I'm okay with, but I'm not a huge fan of cats, in all honesty. I like squirrels better. Too bad about the rabies. They don't all have rabies. Most don't, but yeah. Um, yeah, and rabies in humans is interesting because um, rabies doesn't really spread among human populations because how rabies works is it like makes you more aggressive. Like if you get it, you're probably dead, unfortunately, unless you get treated real quick. But it's not likely. You're not. I mean, you are contagious, but only if you bite someone. And even rabid humans don't bite very often because because rabies just makes you more aggressive. And unlike most other animals, humans don't usually bite. Like we don't. It's like we only really bite when we're like in a pinch. We're generally going to punch and kick and grab weapons and stuff. We only bite when the chips are down and we don't really have other options. And it's not something we do. Our bite's not very strong. Um, yeah, so there's not a lot of human to human rabies transmission for that reason. It's probably not a crime to bite someone in California. It probably is, but I don't know why you'd say it's not in California, but yeah, yeah, it's it's actually super illegal because like biting someone, so much disease transmission possible with that. Like the same reason why spitting is like really illegal. Like biting is like so much worse. Just wanted to say congrats on 2.5K. Appreciate that. Was it Cargrim 27? I enjoy your content. Appreciate that. Thanks for putting in the time and effort. 100. Appreciate that. That means a lot. Like that's why I'm doing the live streams. Is a thank you to you guys for getting me those subscribers. Like you're the ones hitting that subscribe button. Then that's how I get to 2,500 subscribers. You guys aren't hitting the button. I'm not getting subscribers. You guys click on the video and watch. I get views. I get money, not much, but it goes up over time. And yeah, that's how it works. If you guys aren't hitting those buttons, if you guys aren't clicking, you're not watching, you're not subscribing, then this channel dies and nothing happens. Like this channel goes nowhere. Like that's just how YouTube works. So, making these is like, a thank you. It's me trying to give something back to you guys, giving you a chance to like hang out with me is a way to like, say thank you for supporting me and watching the videos and hitting subscribe and hitting the like button and, sharing and all the other things that people are doing. Not everyone's doing all that stuff. Most people are just watching. Well, most people aren't even watching because most people don't know who I am. But, most people who are, part of the channel in any way are just watching. And that's fine. That helps a lot, especially if you're watching good chunks of the video and coming back for more. But yeah, like that's huge. That it's the core of the audience. Yeah, it's the guys like it's the guys that are out here, subscribing and commenting on videos and writing in chat that they get all the attention because they're the ones actually putting themselves out there. That's just how the world works, but yeah, the backbone of the community is the people that just watch and don't say anything, and that's absolutely huge. And I'm extremely grateful that everyone who watches the videos. This channel would not exist without you. The guys who comment, they're the ones who like, I see, and that makes it, like I'm seeing the thank you, and like, and stuff like, hey, I've watched your videos, it helps. Like, that means a lot every time I see comments like that. Like that really motivates me to make more stuff when I read comments that, are supportive like that. Yeah, but just seeing number go up helps a lot too, and that's what most people are doing. They're watching the video, they're subscribing, and that makes number go up. So, I can't really know who these people are too well, but thank you to everyone watching. It does mean a lot. You're not as visible because you're not putting yourself out there, but you still mean a lot even if I don't know who you are. So yeah, but yeah, that's why I make these videos and like the live streams. Not everybody who's watching the live streams is commenting in chat. A lot of them are at this point because I'm pretty small, but you have to grow to a decent size before you start getting a lot of lurkers. But lurkers tend to gravitate more towards bigger channels. It tends to be people who are very engaged that tend to watch a lot of live streams of smaller channels. But it is what it is. That's just logistics. Like very logistic brain. That's just how things work. But yeah, it does mean a lot. Yeah, and just hanging out, talking video, talking D&D, just hanging out with you guys. Like that's my way of trying to say thank you to you guys. And yeah, just kind of looking through Stormracked while I'm waiting for comments to come in. I admit I used Gemini to make a prestige class for the nice arcane and ever. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm curious how that turned out. Like, I'm not anti AI at all. I don't have an issue with it. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of like using AI art in professional capacity. Like, if you can avoid it, like if you have the money to hire an artist, then you should hire an artist. You shouldn't be using AI for professional products if you have like a budget. Um, but if you're some small little indie studio that's literally not even really a studio, it's just a dude, or like a couple of friends, fine. I don't really see an issue with like really small, studios, if you can call that using AI art at that point. Like, because we're talking about guys just with no budget making stuff. Cool. But like, if you got some budget, you should be hiring artists. Otherwise, I don't see too much of an issue. On top of that, like, but just using like chatbots. I mean, you should be careful using chatbots. They're kind of dangerous to your mental health to use. Like, use chatbots at like when you use chatbots, just try and be mindful when you use them so that you don't get like, AI psychosis and stuff. And, it can do some real harm to you mentally to use, LLMs a lot. So just keep that in mind. But, and, there's other issues with like power and water and stuff. But honestly, that's not so much on the consumer level. That's kind of like recycling. Like, honestly, should you recycle? I mean, yeah, but it's not that big a deal because most of the time it doesn't go anywhere anyways. And it's really complex. Really don't focus your energy too much on recycling. If you actually care about the planet, start going to like Congress and start lobbying for environmental changes. Like, do actual like something that's really meaningful to like try and stop these big companies from doing what they're doing. It's just a distraction to have people focused on recycling and crapping on people for using AI in their small indie products, like projects and stuff like that. That's a nothing burger. Like, it's just, yeah. Gemini is too annoying for that. Marking gendered language as misspelled really grinds my gears. Fair enough. Fair enough. I get you on that. I love the grinds my gears. That is like such a Family Guy reference. I'm pretty sure it was Peter Griffin in Family Guy that like first started that. Yeah. I'm just looking through some prestige classes in there. There's some interesting ones, but yeah, I don't have a huge issue with AI. I've considered making, like, I've used a little bit of AI art in a couple thumbnails, but not many. Most of them I make myself. So yeah, I'm like, even when I'm using art from the books and stuff, like, I will literally take my physical book, put it over on that. What I do, yeah, you can actually see it. I'll put it over on that little table over there by the TV, and I'll turn up a light on that's right there. You can see the stand a little bit over there. The light itself is off camera. I'll turn that on. It points right down at the book. And, I take my phone here and I freaking, video camera it as I'll just take a photo of the picture in the book, and then I bring it into my computer and I do some color correcting and stuff to fix that up. And that's what I do. Like, I have a whole process for that. I don't like just take pictures offline for it. Like, I got a whole process for, doing my thumbnail. So when you see like, a recognizable picture, like of a fighter or a barbarian that's from the books, yeah, that I'm not just ripping that offline. I'm literally photographing my book and color correcting it and going through that whole process. So that's a little behind the scenes there. It's not that much work, but it is a little bit. And it's just sort of to like, I don't know. I just think it makes for a better product, and like, a more unique product. Like, I'm not just using stuff ripped from a PDF with scanned pages. Like, nah, I'm legitimately, putting a little bit of my own artistic flair into it. I mean, it's not much art with it. It's literally just photography and color correction. But it is what it is. There are people in romantic relationships with these LLMs? Yeah, that's true. That's true. I couldn't do that. Not me. I'm autistic, which does put me in the category for that. But like, nah, I can't do that. Like, I've been talking to LLMs a bit just because I don't got a lot of friends and I get like ideas. But even then, like, they gaslight me too much and I can't deal with it. Like, the sheer amount of gaslighting I get from like Gemini, which is what I usually talk to. Nah, and Gemini is better than a lot of the others when it comes to that. So yeah, I don't like how they're so, like, if they don't know, they don't say I don't know. They say, yeah, this is. They give a yes or a no, and then they like give some bull crap. Like, I really really hate that. Um, I wish they would like, fact check themselves better before giving responses, because they don't, and I can't stand that about LLMs. At least when a human acts agreeable, there's a small chance she is sincere. Yeah, very true. But yeah, like, I couldn't date. I want, like, if I'm going to date someone, I want to date like someone. I want there to be an actual like person that I'm talking to, and I'm hopefully in some way enriching their life. Like, I don't want it to be like, you know what I mean? I don't want to date someone where it's like you can easily just make the relationship never happen by just like deleting all like deleting all evidence of it, and then they're just don't know that there was ever a relationship, which very much is the case with AIs. I want a freaking human who's going to remember me, and yeah, yeah, you use AI at your own risk, man, especially with those chatbots. Yeah. Anywho, let's see. What else anybody want to talk about? Any classes, races? I don't know. Cool D&D stories anyone's got? Yeah, just here to chat, hang out. If anyone got any cool build ideas? I don't know. It's your guys' stream, man. Like, Kensai's a fun one. I'm just flipping through books. Like, it's not like the strongest, but it has some really cool uses. I think the most interesting thing with the Kensai is that you can do it with natural weapons. So the ways that Kensai could combine with Monk is really interesting. Like a Kensai Monk, if you were to grab, there's this feat in Player's Handbook 2, I think it's called Versatile Strike. But if you're a Kensai / Monk, you don't necessarily have to be Monk, but it's probably better. And you grab Versatile Strike, you can actually make your fists vorpal and make it so that, if you roll a nat 20, you just karate chop someone's head right off. Like, that's a thing you can do. And is it like super overpowered and busted? No, it's actually kind of underpowered. But is it cool to be able to karate chop people's heads off some of the time? I would say yeah. I would say that is pretty dang cool to, be able to occasionally just chop a guy's head off with your bare hands. I don't know. Seems like a cool idea to me. Yeah. Gemini did have a good answer on why a fantasy government would tolerate adventure guilds. Ooh, interesting. I'm curious on that. My guess on why a fantasy government would tolerate adventure guilds is they probably would encourage them. Um, it is, uh, a form of security in a way. Like they put out like these adventure guilds are going out and they're doing all these jobs to help the community, and they're also going out and killing bandit camps and killing some goblins or whatever that are lurking nearby. Like they're doing work to make the community better. Like they are providing a valuable community service, and they're an organized kind of an organized militia that is separate from the guard, but it's basically a little mercenary group, kind of useful. I can absolutely see why they would be not only allowed but encouraged. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, that's why I would say that's the case. Is yeah, you can absolutely like adventure guilds 100% provide valuable service to the community. Also they bring in money. The adventurers spend the money at the taverns and at various merchants in town, and they're really like big for the economy as well. Like they have a good amount of money that they're bringing in from the dungeons or whatever it is they're doing, and then they're using those resources and they're bringing in these resources which are stuff you can't really obtain any other way. And on top of that, they have all this money that they're getting from that, which they can, then spend on goods and services, which will trickle down throughout the economy. Like, yeah, adventurers are like major economy movers. So they're super, super helpful and important to a fantasy government. Like, really big. Monsters change this. Real world history is not so useful. Monsters change things. Real world history is not so. Yeah, that is true. And I'm not really using real world history. Like 100% monsters change things. Like, yeah, if you fight off the goblin camps and the orc bandits or whatever it is, that's a big part of what they're doing. They're also gathering resources from dungeons and, dealing with those rogue wizards that went off and did who knows what. You know, yeah, they're dealing with all the various threats that they can't really manage with the town guard. Like typically, the town guard's going to focus mostly just on the town itself. Yeah, armies can be built, but do you really want to send your army after or into a dungeon? I wouldn't recommend it. Like armies aren't that good at dungeon crawling. Like you're much better off sending a small party of adventurers in there. So that's really, important to have these, adventuring parties. Armies are much better suited for open field confrontations, which, adventurers can do, but it's not typically what they're doing. Eberron has cults of the dragon below, basically Cthulhu worshippers. Interesting. Not familiar with that. I haven't played much Eberron, to be honest. I played a little bit here and there. I've got like a couple of campaigns that have started, but I can't say I'm really familiar with it to any real level. Plus, I've played like a little bit of several different settings. So honestly, I can't remember what's what because I've played so little of them. I played a little Eberron, little Dragonlance. It's like which one's which? I don't freaking like it. I played almost nothing of them, so they're kind of all jumbled. If I played more of them, I would definitely know the difference, because I'm sure the differences are vast. But I haven't played enough of either, so that's just kind of where I'm at. I've had campaigns that have started but haven't really got off the ground in them, and yeah. Kendar or Noxious, interesting. I'm not familiar with these Kinder, but fair enough. But yeah, Kensai here, pretty fun one. Useful for being able to chop off a guy's head if you want. Like there's a whole bunch of like ways you can do stuff. Frenzy Berserker, now that is a fun one. I love the Frenzy Berserker. It's just a fun class. It gets so much cool stuff, and like its downside is really like obvious. I don't know. I love classes that have like really big upsides, but also really big downsides. In that, to me, that's fun. Kinder are the Dragonlance Kleptomania Halflings. Interesting. So these guys, Halflings that steal a lot. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, Frenzied Berserker. Love them. They get Frenzy with stacks with Rage, which means you get stupid high strength scores. But like the really big stuff that they get is freaking, what is it? Supreme, the Supreme Power Attack and Improved Power Attack. Those are like the big draws of Frenzied Berserker more than anything at 5th and 10th level. And yeah, it makes it so Power Attack is just better. 5th level they get Improved Power Attack, which makes it so Power Attack is just 50% stronger than normal. Like what you trade is the same, but what you get in return is 50% better. And then with Supreme Power Attack, it's twice as good. So what you trade is the same, but what you get is doubled, which is really awesome. It's really specific about it, but it works out to 50% more and doubled. And honestly, if you have other things that are upping things, it could be argued that it would stack with that. Hard to say though. But there's some really good stuff. Plus you get like Supreme Cleave, which lets you take 5-foot steps between cleaves, which not the greatest, but it's not bad. Better Frenzies is always good. Deathless Frenzy. Oh my god, I forgot about Deathless Frenzy. Deathless Frenzy is so good. That's honestly even bigger than the Power Attack. Freaking, you just can't die from massive damage. Like you can be at negative 500 health and still swinging. Now, as soon as you end Frenzy, you're drop dead. But Deathless Frenzy is absolutely insane and really good for an enemy boss, because if your players don't know they're a Frenzied Berserker, they might just keep fighting this guy and be like, how much health does this freaking guy have? And they're just swinging at him, like, oh yeah, he's a bloody mess, he's dripping blood everywhere. You don't know how this guy's still standing. But like if they ask how he looks, but he's still standing. Frenzied Berserker. Oh, it's such a fun one. Let's see. This is a 3.5. This is 3.5 though. Caster Supremacy. Yeah, casters generally are better. I think the book recommends fighter only campaigns. Fair enough. And fighter's not a very good base class out of all the ones in the book. It's one of the worst. Hard to say. Fighter and monk are both pretty bad. So I think fighter's a little better than monk, maybe. I don't know. They're so close. They're both not very good. They've got, barbarian's better for sure, because it, it has power attack, which can get some, like, it plays really well into power attack with rage and everything that can really make it better. Plus the D12 hit dice, and they get a few things that really are quite powerful. Pun not intended, but it really is a strength-based class, and con is pretty important for them too, which means they're going to be living a while. So yeah, they tend to do big damage and are hard to take down. So they're a pretty decent class. And Frenzied Berserker, Frenzied Berserker, Bear Warrior, oof, that is such a good combo. Barbarians start out as illiterate, like Chin Alpha. They do indeed start out as illiterate. and they do not ever gain literacy. And honestly, I find weaknesses like that to be very, very nice. I personally just find that fun. Like if I'm playing a barbarian, I'm probably not going to get rid of the illiteracy. I'm probably going to keep it. Like I'm probably going to try and do frenzied berserker bear warrior if the DM's allowing it, and just make myself an absolute unit. That's probably what I'm going to do. And I'm probably not going to learn to read. I'm probably going to dump intelligence and dump charisma, and probably not make my wisdom too great. Dex isn't going to be amazing probably. It's just going to have like a crap ton of points. Everything's just going to be strength and constitution. And yeah, if I can do point buy, especially if I can like do one where I'm starting it with 3s, because I love like low abilities, 100%. I will be a barbarian, like a half orc or full orc barbarian with freaking, yeah, I'm down for full orc too, 100%. That extra plus, like a full +4 to strength, heck yeah. Yeah, you get a -2 to all your mental stats, but and you're weak to sunlight, but I don't know. It's pretty fun. The last one I played, he had a low intelligence too, and orcs actually don't get common automatically. Or actually, I think they might. But anyways, I worked it out with the DM where my character actually didn't speak common. So he only spoke orc. So he was only able to speak to like one guy in the party. The campaign ended up ending fairly early on. But it was fun. It was fun making this guy. He's a complete and utter fucking badass. And yeah, he could not speak common or read. Yeah, so a Minotaur wouldn't be bad, but the problem with Minotaur is they have too many level adjustments and racial hit dice and all that. Not worth it. Not worth. And yeah, I hear what you're saying about Gen Alpha. They're semi-literate. They know how to text. They know how. So that you got to be at least a little literate in order to do that. Do you use flaws for extra feats? Not usually, but I'm very much down for that. I find it really fun when the DM allows it, and when the DM allows it, I will 100% take it. I really love like min-max characters. I love characters that have glaring weaknesses, but are also just complete badasses in like a different way. Like a barbarian that's a complete idiot and a complete a-hole, and is illiterate and maybe doesn't even know common, but they hit like a truck, and they're like stupid hard to bring down. That's awesome. But I also like the other side of things where you have like this stupidly powerful caster who's like just so OP and can do like all these things with his magic, but he has like a negative constitution and strength, and like he gets wiped out by like a breeze could take him out, and he can't lift, and he's got a carrying capacity of like 12. It's like, yeah, he trying to lift something that's even moderately heavy is going to over encumber him. It's like, oh yeah, that thing's like 10 pounds. It's like, that's gonna be a pain to carry. I love that kind of stuff. Like I love characters that are like really have that range where they're like, this just complete badass of a wizard who's just like casting spells left and right and just dominating everyone with his magic, but he literally can't lift a moderately heavy book without using his magic. Like his own strength is not enough to lift a large tome. I think that's a really fun character. That's just me. And one who's just like this frail, like especially when I'm playing wizards, like I so want to play a venerable character. +3 to intelligence, +3 to wisdom, +3 to charisma, -6 to strength, -6 to dex, -6 to constitution. which you can always do. Like that's always an option if you want to play venerable and just be like really freaking old. Um, I just thought it'd be really funny to do as like it was, use like an old man voice. I think that'd be really a really fun character. Now there's also the downside of you could just drop dead at any minute. Old age. Father Time could literally just come for you at any second, and then you're dead. But it is a thing that's what it is. Uh, so yeah. Let's see. Speech to text is a thing, and the computer can read things aloud for you. Yeah. You mean like for? You mean for like a character, or because there's not really computers in the world, and yeah. Or do you mean for like the live stream? I don't know how I'd set that up with that. Let's see. A ranged rogue can put out a lot of DPS, but in melee they get wrecked. Yeah. And rogues, even in melee, a rogue can do a lot with the dagger. They're going. It's going to be a little bit trickier, but they just need an ally, and they just need to flank. That's really all you need to get sneak attack is to flank, which not the hardest thing in the world to pull off. So, yeah, it's a good way to get that every turn and do crazy DPS. Yeah. Let's see. Best wizard spell. Ooh, that's a tough one. Hellfire Storm is definitely a really powerful one. Does quite a bit of damage, and it's pretty hard to avoid it. No spell resistance, no saving throw. Does a type of damage that's very difficult to gain resistance to. So it's pretty much unavoidable. And it does a decent amount of damage. So that's up there for sure. But damage dealing's not always the best option. Mind Rape is honestly one of the strongest spells out there. Good Lord, is that good? Yeah, it allows a will save, and it might allow spell resistance too. I can't remember. I think it does. But if it works, like they just control your character basically. They gain the ability, like if you cast that on someone and it works, you're able to completely learn all of their memories first off. So just you now all of a sudden gain all the intel that they have, and you're able to rewrite their memories however you see fit, and you can change their alignment to whatever you want. And between all of that, yeah, it's stupidly powerful because one, you just get a bunch of intel, and two, you change their alignment to something that fits you better, and you adjust their memory so that now they believe that they've been working with you this whole time, and you're their best friend, and you've saved their life. So like they owe you this huge debt of gratitude. And also the party that they were with, those guys are their enemy, and if they've been like out to get them for like forever, and all the positive memories that they had with them are just gone or replaced with bad like memories of them attacking them. Like, yeah, Mind Rape is so stupidly overpowered. Like, it is such a good spell, and it requires freaking Wish or Miracle to fix. So it's really, really good. I think there's like a couple other spells that work, but yeah, it's not an easy one. Gen Alpha could only have D&D books in audio format. Oh, well, 30% of them. Wow. I don't know if that's true, but prestidigitation is the best spell. It is very, it's not like strong. It's a 0 level spell, but, it's a 0 level spell. It's something that, pretty much every wizard is going to have access to, as well as most gnomes, regardless of what class they are. Yeah, it's just sort of a pretty good spell, in all honesty. Is it amazing? No, but you can do a lot of pretty nice minor little things, um, and it's very very handy. Um, combine that with dancing lights and ghost sounds, which are also cantrips that are zero level wizard spells, and also on the very short list of gnome spells, which is a thing. The race gnome does get spells, not many, but they do get racial spells. Uh, only zero level, but yeah, um, it is a thing, and there's not many of them. It's like 5 on their list, I think. But yeah, those are all on there, and some pretty useful ones. You can do some pretty fun little things. So yeah, unless the enemy prepared that victim for you with fake intel. I mean, yeah, that is true, but like, I don't know if like you hit that with on one of the party members. Now all of a sudden you tell the party member, it's like, okay, as far as you know, everything's changed. You need to play your character completely different going forward because now his memories have changed, and they're gonna have to like roll with this whole kind of new character. Like they're still going to be having some of their old like personality. Like a lot of that personality will probably remain. It's just their memories have changed. Who they believe is friend and foe has changed. What their alignment is has changed. Maybe it's changed. Probably it's changed. So, there's things that will be different. And I don't know, it can be a very fun one. Um, and, different players are going to have different reactions to being hit with that. Some of them probably aren't going to be happy with their character suddenly being a different character. Others might find it very fun, and they'll roll with the punches and be like, okay, let's work with this. All right, this is interesting. So it depends heavily on the player. Let's see. My tea is always sweet. All right, fair enough. I don't go with sweet tea. You know, uh, Honestly, I haven't been much of a tea drinker until pretty recently. I am now. Got some Arnold Palmer. But yeah, my fridge is literally right here. Very small apartment. Yeah, you can actually see my fridge a little bit in the shot. Crazy. That little white corner at the bottom is my fridge. But yeah. What you doing into your with the party? What do you mean? Don't follow that acronym. Let's see. What's your favorite class? Oof. I've got a few. I like the wizard. I like the casters, and I like the barbarian. So, yeah, I like both of those. Those are probably my two favorite. And I know they're like complete opposites, but I don't know. I like characters that monks can be fun too, although I know they're not the most powerful. But I like characters that I'm able to like really build a strong archetype, but also like have a really solid weakness in them as well. Like barbarians make them big dumb brutes that big dumb assholes that are just like they're super strong, they're hard to bring down, crazy high strength and constitution, really low intelligence and charisma. Like this guy is a complete asshole, a complete idiot, but he hits like a tank and he's got a stupid high health pool, and he's not going to be easy to bring down, and he's going to do a lot of damage in the meantime. But I also like casters that are the complete opposite. Weak little, like they're basically a wet noodle. But at the same time, they have the power to just cast just these stupidly overpowered god level spells, and like I really like playing with like divination and divination, and then like the trickery kind of stuff. Uh, Being able to gather information and also control information. I find to be a very fun way to play. Not so much damage, but like spells where I can manipulate. I really like those, but I also like to make my casters wet noodles. That's really fun for me. Because I don't know, I like my character to have a weakness. I don't want him to be too overpowered. I mean, I want him stupid overpowered, like be able to cast his stuff. But you manage to get in and pin me to the ground. Yeah, I'm probably I'm kind of screwed at that point. I'm not going to be able to break out of a grapple, and a couple of hits and I'm dead. I like playing characters like that. I think it's fun. Low AC. Honestly, a lot of my characters have low AC. I just find it fun. Either that or I go stupid high on AC. Agreed. They actually tried to even the playing. What's your favorite class? Tome of Battle has the best martial classes. Agreed. Yeah, I do agree with that 100%. Tome of Battle is really good for martial classes for the most part, unless you're going the Barbarian option, in which case, Complete Warrior, grab yourself Frenzied Berserker, grab yourself Bear Warrior, get yourself Cerulean Arms. That's the way to do like a brute build. If you're making a big old brute, that's the way to do it. Maybe throw on some Psychic Warrior levels later in order to be able to make yourself get bigger. Yeah, that's the build for that though. Yeah, and plus with psionics, rage doesn't. There's nothing anywhere that says rage impacts psionics, so you should still be able to do that while enraged. And even if you can't, just kind of put your efforts into their enlarged person. I forget what the psionic version of enlarged person is. It's like maximize or something. But you just do that, and you can actually go up 2 size categories by investing more points into it. So do that, make yourself 2 size categories bigger, and then after that, you jump into rage, and the effect will still last. That's also an option. So yeah. Favorite dinosaur? Oof. I'm not sure. I guess T-Rex. I don't really put that much thought into it. Like I don't know. I haven't thought about what my favorite dinosaur is in like forever. If we're talking D&D, I haven't used dinosaurs that much. If we're talking like just in general, I don't know. I don't know. It's been a very long time. Like I'm 38. It's been a long time since I've really cared that much about dinosaurs. I mean, I think they're cool and all, but like, I don't know. Swans are. I mean, I guess it's kind of dinosaurs. I mean, birds are the ancestors of dinosaurs. The non-avian dinosaurs may have gone extinct, but the avian dinosaurs, they did not. They stuck around and they evolved into birds. Like every bird today is the ancestor of the dinosaurs. So swans, yeah, that is technically true. Chickens are like, I think chickens are like fairly closely related to like the T-Rex or something I heard. I don't know if that's true. That might be both, but yeah. Bards are so bards 100% are underrated. They're not great solo, but they're one of the best support classes in the game. They are really good at making the rest of the party better. And like, how much a bard adds to the party is more than what he's worth. Like the bard really makes everyone else so much better. Even more so if they get big into like, if they really boast like inspire courage, and if they're also like doing like dragonfire inspiration, that can really add a lot. And even more so if other people in the party are big into summoning. If you got a summoner in the party, summoners and bards, they combo super well. Not on the same build. You want different characters, but if you got one player that's a summoner and one player that's a bard, that is so strong. That is a really, really good synergy right there. So yeah, bards really good. They combo great with a summoner that is a different player. I'm a Stegosaur fan. That's cool. That's cool, Matthew. Yeah, but a swan still thinks it can eat you. Well, I don't know if it could eat you, but swans are actually pretty vicious. They're one of the more nasty birds out there. Like, don't mess with a swan. They seem like there's this graceful, like elegant bird that would be like, you know, not very strong. Nah, those things are tough mother effers. Like, you can get messed up from a swan. Like, yeah. Um, they're actually a legitimate threat. Um, I mean, could you beat a swan in a fight? Yeah, probably, but you ain't gonna walk away from it the same. You're gonna have a few scars and maybe lose an eye. You know, don't mess with a swan. Uh, yeah, they're pretty nasty. They're pretty strong, and like you don't do that. They're not bugging anybody. Um, unless they're like on your property and like causing a problem. But like, yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, I don't know. I like things like frenzy. Like I say, frenzied berserker. Freaking love frenzied berserkers. But I also love wizards, and I love the urge classes too. Like, I don't know. I understand that they lose some a decent amount of power because they're 3 levels behind, which is not nothing. Um, but having the variety of 2 different spellcasting classes, it's pretty nice. Like, being able to like, you have those 2 separate lists to draw from, which means, the, the variety of spells that you have on hand at any time is really high with the Urge build, which, you know, really can come in handy, especially like out of combat. So I really like them. I understand, yeah, you're missing out on higher level spells, and that is a very real trade off. Um, and, from an optimization point of view, it's not really worth it. But I still like it. I like the extreme variety that you get from it. That's just me, though. I find it more fun to have a character with a lot of options. And that's something that the Urge builds get more so than, most other builds. Like if you just went straight wizard or wizard with like regular prestige classes, you're not going to have the same options that you have with the Urge build. Yeah, I'm not saying it's better. It's overall not, but I like it better. It's more fun for me, and at the end of the day, that's what's most important. If I'm playing in a super high-powered campaign, and I'm being told that ahead of time, yeah, I'm not going to play the Urge build. I'm going to pick something else, unless it's like Gestalt, and then which case I might, because then you're not really getting the penalties so much. If it's a Gestalt game, I might go Wizard Cleric and just be like, okay, I get both of those. I don't have any downside, and I don't have the downsides of being, down caster levels. I have the downsides of, not having a good base attack bonus, and my health isn't going to be amazing, but it's decent. Although I probably wouldn't even go Wizard Cleric. I'd probably go Wizard Archivist. Let's be real. I'd rather be more sad than mad. So, yeah. I like Warlocks for ditching Vancian casting and doing whatever they want. Yeah, that is pretty nice. How they don't have like limits on how much they can cast per day. Like, they have the same limits on how much they can use their magic per day as a fighter does on how much he can use his sword per day. Fighter does have a limit on how many times he can swing that sword per day. I mean, you can only swing it so fast. There's only so many hours in a day. Plus, if he does it too much, he's going to get tired. Probably, if a fighter just spends all day swinging his sword over and over, as the DM, I'd probably make him make a constitution check, after a while. It's like, you've been at this for like 20 minutes. Make a fortitude check to see if you can still if you're starting to get tired yet, But especially if they're doing it full speed, because generally when you're training all day, you're not going anywhere near full speed. Yeah. But yeah, Warlocks are cool that they don't have that spells per day limit. Their spells aren't as strong, But the fact they're not too far off, and they don't have, daily limits, which is nice. I would have to say my favorite class is Dread Necromancer. It's the most fun for me. Nice, nice. I've looked at that one in the past. That is it's been a while since I've looked at that. What book was it? Is that like Heroes of Horror, I think? Let me try and figure out which book it is before I go grab the physical book. Undead are smelly and unsightly. Constructs are the superior choice. I mean, smelly and unsightly, that's probably accurate. I can't imagine undead smell great, and they are a bit of an eyesore. I don't know about being superior. Constructs have their uses. Yeah, Heroes of Horror. I was right. Cool. Let me grab that real quick. Pull that up. Heroes of Horror, where are you? So that I can. No, that's hard to make this. Close name, but very different book. Here. Yeah, Here's Horror. I do have that book. I'm just trying to find it on my shelf because they're not really organized in a real way, unless you count how recently I've used them as a organization system, because that is how they're organized. Is how recently have I pulled them off my shelf? The more recent they are, the more recent ones are in a different spot. But yeah, Here's Horror. Did you have a good time? Matthew, that's cool. Let's see. Let me try and find it. Fallen Paladins. Ooh, interesting. Death Delver. Dread Witch. It must have been before Dread Witch, right? Death Delver. Oh, no, it's class, not prestige class. That was why I'm in the wrong spot. I hit. Hit button. Did not mean hit button. Where the heck? I was trying to find it. Let's go to the table of contents because I'm having a hard time finding the Dread Necromancer. I know it's in here. Trade classes. Dread Necromancer 84. There we go. It's right by Archivist too. Okay, so I was going the wrong way. All right, Dread Necromancer. There we are. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Channel Touch, Rebuke Undead, Lich Body. There's some pretty good stuff. Although I gotta say, I will. I like Archivist better. There's only two base classes in this book. I like Archivist better. Yeah, it's basically an intelligence-based cleric that can also get druid spells. I think it's cleric, but also who can learn druid spells. Yeah. And not just druid, but they could also get any divine spells, so they can gain access to paladin and ranger spells, and they get them at much earlier levels potentially if they just get scrolls of them, which makes archivists really, really strong. Just I think, they can cast, 4th level paladin and ranger spells, when they're just freaking what? That's 7th level. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, that's insane. Being able to cast 4th level paladin and ranger spells at 7th level. Like paladins and rangers don't get that to like 16th level or some crap. They're pretty high level by the time they get those. Like I think 16th, 17th level. They stole that scroll trick from Warlock. They probably do it better to boot. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's a very, very powerful. So they take the scroll and then they just permanently have it in their prayer book, which just means, which is their spell book. So they have a prayer book instead of a spell book. So they're basically a divine wizard that, yeah, they're basically a divine wizard that uses cleric as the base, but can get any other divine scrolls. Yeah, so that they can learn any divine spell, basically. So yeah, that's kind of good. They have to spend money to gain these, but yeah, it can be very, very, very powerful, especially if they're adding in the cleric or the paladin and ranger ones. I mean, granted, those would be more expensive, but still, because the caster level on those, would be much higher. So that is going to make them more expensive than other 4th levels, but still, making them 2.5 times more expensive, more or less. I don't know. I don't think that's going to make too much of an impact. I mean, it will, but it's not too crazy amount, and very much worth the money to have spells that are that much better. So, yeah, Archivist, very, very good. Dread Necromancer, still a very good class. Like Heroes of Horror is a great book. There's very, very good book. Yeah. Channel Touch, Rebuke Dead, Lich Body. Jeez. Yeah, like becoming a Lich, very, very strong. Like Liches are just good. Sort of. I mean, they're not good, they're evil, but it's very powerful to be a Lich. Yeah. Ooh, that's a potential option for a character that I'm playing right now. He's a major caster, and just thinking, yeah, I could see him go Lich. I could see that. Yeah. It would just be kind of fun to see him, or I don't know. I just think it'd be cool to do with a Lich. Anywho, yeah, Dread Necromancer, it's definitely an interesting one. 2 short for me. Plus, can it even eat and drink? It probably could, but I don't think it matters. It's not going to do anything. But I'm pretty sure it can eat and drink. Like, it's got a mouth. You can put food and water down its face hole, and it'll eventually work its way out. Yeah. But I don't know if that really counts fully as eating and drinking. But yeah. And I mean, they can drink potions for that reason. They got to be a little bit more careful which potions they drink, because obviously you don't want your undead drinking them cure potions. That could be bad. They, I guess, would need to drink inflict potions, which are a lot harder to find, because I guess they're not particularly common potions to be having around. It's more of a poison than anything, but it's not really a poison. So yeah, but I get the edgelord thing. I'm not much of an edgelord myself, but at the same time, I don't know, playing that stuff is fine. I just, for me, it's more about the immortality and the other just benefits of being a Lich. So yeah, it's more just about that. Only the top shelf booze uses inflict potion. So only the top shelf booze uses inflict potions. Yeah, fair. I mean, I guess, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. If you're a necromancer, you probably got some inflict potions around, because for your zombies to take, or if you're a lich, I wouldn't be surprised if liches carry around, inflict potions, because they're gonna want to heal, and like that's their healing potions is inflict potions. So I don't know. Personally, I think cleric liches are the more fun ones, just because I don't know. I think it's like it stacks a little bit better. Like the fact that like their rebuke and their rebuke undead and their command undead, that I think that just really goes well with a necromancer. Like, yeah. Or if you really want to go crazy, go frickin' like Mystic the Urge type one. Go, a drunken lich sounds more amusing. Interesting. I don't know how that would work though, because liches are by definition casters, and casting while drunk generally doesn't work very well. I don't know of any prestige class that helps with that. I know Drunken Master, but that's not for casters. That's like a monk one, which is interesting. I don't know. Drunken Lich. I mean, it sounds interesting, but it's not good. It's interesting in the same way that a halfling. Well, I was going to say halfling barbarian, but there's ways to make that work, like a dex-based halfling barbarian. But a strength-based halfling barbarian, that's not going to work very well. Like, it's unoptimal. Graft a stomach on yourself. You can drink. I mean, yeah, but the point isn't so much your ability to drink. It's more the fact that the booze is going to inhibit your ability to cast. And that's not a good thing. Then you're not going to be able to get any real benefits from drinking booze. So just kind of trying to figure out how to make that even remotely viable. It's just, it's like a strength-based halfling barbarian. Like, it's not really viable. You can do it, but it's going to be unoptimal every time. You're going to be better off being bigger if you're strength-based. Yeah, if you're doing dex-based barbarian, okay, cool. Yeah, the halfling's a good way to go in that case. And you can make some pretty interesting, dex-based halfling barbarians. Although it gets weird because rage is it hurts your dex. And so, I don't know. I've heard that it can be done. I'm sure it can. I haven't looked into it that much, but yeah, it's different. And I just don't know of a way to make a drunken lich work. You'd really have to homebrew a lot of stuff. From what I know, I don't know of any prestige classes or base classes that really work well for a drunken lich. I don't know. It's just not an idea anyone's really explored before. You guys are coming up with new stuff here with your drunken lich ideas. Trying to do a drunken master isn't going to work great. I guess you could kind of do it with a drunken master lich that also had what is it from Complete Arcane? I think it's the Arcane Fist or something like that. That I guess could work if you did Arcane Fist, Drunken Master, Rage Mage. No, it wouldn't be Rage Mage. I don't know. Yeah, Rage Mage that's completely irrelevant. But yeah, that I don't know. Yeah, it'd be tricky to make work, but I guess you could do that. I just put the Arcane Fist in there, and Monk, and then some, I don't know, Wizard or Sorcerer. Maybe instead go with Warlock if possible. I don't know if that would work with Arcane Fist. I think it does though. Every lich used to be mortal. That is mostly true. What alcoholic would want to stop drinking just because he's dead? I mean, sure, that's fair enough. I'm not saying liches don't drink. I'm just saying, are they using are they getting drunk in combat? Like, getting drunk in combat is generally a bad thing. Like, it's not a good idea to be drunk during the fight. So finding a way to make being drunk during the fight a positive, or at the very least neutral, is tricky. You know, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just, personally, I prefer builds that are at least, not bad ideas. Like, that are at least neutral, or preferably somewhat beneficial, where the elements stack together in a way that like adds something. It doesn't subtract. A drunk lich, that's subtractive. The drunk makes the lich less good. So, I usually prefer builds where maybe it's not optimal, but you're at least gaining something for doing it, versus like not doing it. Yeah, there might be better options. And if you had done stuff, differently, fine. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I prefer you, like, yeah, that's basically what I'm getting at is, yeah, you can do it, but in order to make it worthwhile and not just a silly idea, I don't know how you would go about doing it in a way that's decent and isn't just, doing it for the sake of doing it because it's funny. Because, I mean, that's got its uses, but I prefer things to, not just be done just because they're funny most of the time, especially when I'm making a player character. For an NPC, maybe not. Maybe I'll make a character that's just a joke character, sure. But, I'm not against that stuff. Like, I like watching Doug stuff, and he's like the king of doing dumb stuff just because it's funny. Like, that's like his whole vibe. But I don't know. I'm not nearly as chaotic as he is. I'm fairly lawful, I would say. Yeah. I don't know. I like to think of myself somewhere between lawful neutral and chaotic, or no, and neutral good. So I don't know, somewhere on that not really an alignment thing. But yeah, so it's somewhere between those. It's hard for me to say. I wouldn't say true neutral, and I wouldn't say lawful good either. But like, I don't know. If you were to expand the alignments from 3x3 to 5x5, I would say I was lawful-ish, good-ish. Have you seen the hive mind rules in the Book of Violent Darkness? I've looked at them. I haven't looked at them much, and it's been a really long time. I have the Book of Violent Darkness. I can pull that out. It'll take like 2 seconds. I think I had it out. During the first stream. So, I know that because of where the book is currently located. Yeah. Let's see. Hive Mind, the Book of Vile Darkness. I enhance alignment with an allegiance system. Interesting. If I was going to enhance it, I don't know. I might do like a 5x5 where you have like lawful-ish, chaotic-ish, good-ish, and evil-ish, which are somewhere between neutral and the various stuff, and that would make it 5x5. Like, if I was to describe my actual real-world alignment, I would say lawful-ish, good-ish. Yeah. Because I'm not really lawful good, definitely not. But it's hard to say whether I'm more lawful neutral or neutral good. Yeah. Page 34, sweet, that helps a lot. hive mind as a side effect of some evil spiritual presence or dark blessing of vermin, and certain animals can take on a sort of evil consciousness shared among a large crew. Remains all the hive mind forms each individual remains much greater intelligence than most craven savages. Do not understand how or why hive minds all 50 if at least 50 vermin or animals of the same species are arranged so that no individuals more than 10 feet from the hive mind may come into effect. All creatures operate with intelligence of 5, even if they previously had no intelligence score. The creature's intelligence score increases by +1 for every additional 12 individuals in the first 20. Hive mind and up to intelligence of 10 for a hive mind of 150 creatures. Beyond 150 creature threshold intelligence increases by 1 for every 50 individuals. Plus a swarm of 500 rats would have a hive mind intelligence of 17. Wow, so they can get quite smart. The increase to intelligence gained for every creature in the hive mind over 50 also applies to charisma. So a hive mind of 500 rats, the normal charisma is 14. If the hive mind attains a charisma score of 18 or higher, it gains the ability to cast spells as a sorcerer. What the heck? For every point when a creature in a hive mind's attack, they all gain +1 insight bonus on their attack rolls. When running a hive mind encounter, play a hive mind as a single creature as much as possible. It can be tedious to fight numerous creatures, so assume that weapon blows affect the hive mind as a whole. For example, fighting hits a swarm of hive mind rats for 9 points of damage. Each rat has 1 HP, so assume they kill 9 rats. Hive mind's challenge rating is greater than the challenge rating of one of individual creatures if the CR of the individual is. So yeah, that's pretty strong actually. Although it does mean you can do damage to the hives faster, which is kind of bad for the hive, good for the person fighting the hive. But yeah, the fact that they can get higher intelligence and potentially even a swarm of rats large enough can just freaking cast spells like a sorcerer is kind of insane. Yeah, that's something. I use it on a hell wasp. Interesting. I'm not familiar with hell wasps. Haven't used that particular one. Probably in the same book, I would guess, maybe. Or maybe it's in the other book, the Tyrants of the Nine Hells. It's probably one of them. Thought I was ripping something, but I wasn't. Evil monsters, wrath, vile rag, impaler. Nope, definitely not here. Definitely a different book, but yeah, that's cool. Not super familiar with Hell Wasp, but interesting to say the least. Yeah, definitely some really cool stuff out there. Yeah, let's see. What were we talking about? MM1? Really? It's in the monster manual? Crazy. Hell Wasp. Alright, pull up the monster manual. The OG monster manual, alright. Hell Wasp. Now the question on that comes down to where I might find it. I've got a few different ideas on where it could be. This would be a G. Could just be in regular monsters, your Hell Wasp, or it could be in the vermin section, which is quite likely. Fiend, Halfling, Hellhound, Hippogriff. Yep, not there. So probably in the vermin section, maybe. No, that's animals. It wouldn't be in animals. It'd be in vermin. Monster Scorpion. All right, we're heading in the right direction. Monster Spider. Monster Centipede. Giant Wasp. I see Giant Wasp. And Monstrous. 238. What the? Okay, it's in an odd spot. Interesting. Oh, it's in swarms. Okay, that makes sense. I forgot there was an actual swarm. Yeah, I forgot that there's just a swarm section. Okay, a Hell Wasp swarm. All right, I see what you're saying. Distraction, inhibit. Interesting. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I forgot there was a swarm section. I don't use swarms nearly as much as I probably should. Yeah, okay. Challenge rating 8. They even have Hive Mind. With at least 1 hit point. Forms a hive mind, giving you intelligence of 6. When Hell Swarm is reduced to hit one, it becomes mindless. Interesting. That's kind of cool. When Hell Swarm is reduced below this hit point threshold. Okay. It's at least 1 hit point per hit dice, 12 hit points for a standard Hell Swarm. All right. Okay, that's cool. At least the wasps can fly. Too bad the Vorpal rabbit cannot. Interesting. I'm not familiar with the Vorpal rabbit. At least not in this. Like, I'm familiar with it from an anime I watched not too long ago, where that was like one of the main monster classes. But yeah. I forget what that anime was called. It was pretty good. But yeah, Monty Python reference. Gotcha. And this anime may also be a Monty Python reference, but there definitely was. I think it was Vorpal Bunnies is what they were called. But yeah, it was. That was like the main animal class. I forget what it was about. It's about some trash. The guy who plays trash games and like. He played a really good MMO, and it's a VR game or whatever. I don't know. I forget what it's called. So it was a good anime. That just reminded me of that. Yeah, that's just what I was reminded. I haven't watched that much Monty Python. I've seen Monty Python on the Grail and the Holy Grail a couple of times, but yeah, not that much. Just yeah. Not something I've seen as much as I probably should have. I did enjoy him when I watched it quite a bit, but yeah, I watched it once when I was a kid at a friend's house, and then like I wasn't able to ever really watch it again for years after because they never wanted to watch it when I went over, and I didn't have it. So a few years ago, I found it on Netflix and watched it. But yeah, Life of Brian is a hoot. Interesting. Don't know. I can't say I'm all that familiar. I think I've heard of Life of Brian, but I can't say I know what it is. The only Monty Python I've seen is the Holy Grail. I haven't seen any other Monty Pythons. So yeah, American here. Don't really get BBC stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I can't say I've ever really watched the BBC. So is what it is, I guess. And yes, that does include Doctor Who. I have never seen that. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. My best friend's a huge fan, but haven't seen it. So don't even know how I would watch BBC. So I'm American too, yet I am older than you. That is quite possible. A lot of people are older than me. I'm 38. So a lot of people were born before I was. Just how it is. And a lot of my audience is older than me, which I find a little interesting, to be honest. I'm I would honestly have expected my audience to be, I don't know, a little younger than me on average. I wouldn't expect them to be too young, but I'm surprised that most of them are, older than me. They're like by like 5, 10 years or more. So that surprises me, but it is what it is. Or at least that's, I don't know if that's my audience as a whole, but that's like the audience of people that like are engaging with the content and like leaving comments and are here in chat. A lot of the people that just watch the videos are a bit younger, at least from what my analytics have shown. But it is what it is. Um, Not that it matters that much to me. I mean, I keep it in mind, but like, I don't put a huge amount of emphasis on that kind of stuff. It's just not that important. But yeah, what else? Yeah, Monty Python. Haven't seen much of it. I haven't seen BBC. It's just not something I've watched, and I'm also, I don't know. I was young when a lot of stuff came out that a lot of people that are older are big into, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's a little before my time. Like I remember it, and I remember it being big, but I was in like middle school at the time, and I don't know, it was too. I just wasn't old enough to appreciate it. Partially because I'm autistic, and like I tend to enjoy content that's made for people a little bit younger than that's made for people a little younger than me. That's just kind of always been the case with me. But yeah, so yeah, things like Buffy, I don't know, never got into it. Uh, by the time I was old enough to appreciate like teen drama kind of stuff, I don't know, it wasn't really my thing. Like I liked Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That was like something that I enjoyed and was old enough to appreciate while it was still running. But yeah, that's about as close as I've gotten to that. Let's see, Free Run. Oh yeah, that is not old. That is very new. Free Run Beyond's Journey to End is really good. It's an anime on Netflix. I don't have Netflix, but I have been watching anime online, and I do have Hulu, and the first season has come out on Hulu. I watched that there. I watched the second season on some sites that aren't the most legal, but it is a great anime. Or I guess the first 1.5 seasons, since season 2 is at a midpoint and it has not finished. A lot of anime, they take a break halfway through and then they pick it up a few months later, and Freerun is absolutely doing that. So yeah, haven't seen all of season 2 yet because it's not out. They've only made 1.5 seasons of Freerun. Only 1.5 seasons of Freerun so far. Great anime. I just kind of saw it on Hulu. I hadn't even heard of it when I first started watching it, and I was just like, "Well, this seems interesting. Let's give it a watch." And shortly after, I'm like seeing all this like talk about it. And I'm like, "Huh! I didn't realize this was popular." But yeah, I had no idea it was popular when I started watching it. I was like a good ways into season 1 before I realized that it was like actually popular. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, it's a great anime. Yeah, very interesting take on magic too. Like, I mean, she's an elf and a wizard, and like all about casting. Yeah, and she's like really big on like not casting like the most powerful spells. She's more in just like having a large repertoire of spells that can do all sorts of just random trivial things. Because apparently in that universe, like every spell is extremely specific, and you can't like use spells that are close. You have to like use spells that are very particular for a particular job. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one, and yeah, it plays with a lot of interesting dynamics. Like the fact that she's aging much, much more slowly than most people, like the passage of time for her is very different than it is for everyone around her. So I don't know. It's a good anime. You're right. It is absolutely a great anime, and honestly, it does fit somewhat well with D&D. Like, I mean, if you have like elves in D&D, they absolutely do experience the world in a very similar way to Freeran. Whereas all the humans would be like most other people. The main difference is in D&D, there are large elven kingdoms and large dwarven kingdoms. So that's a thing. Whereas in Freeran, it's mostly just humans with a few scattered elves and dwarves, at least as far as like the audience knows. If there's a bunch of if there's like dwarven and elven kingdom somewhere, they're not places that are well known about. So yeah, Delicious in Dungeon. I also really like. I haven't seen that one. I think I've heard of it. I've watched a lot of like fantasy type anime. That tends to be one of my favorite genres. Like, I mean, one of the most on the nose ones is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? That one's a pretty good anime. I'm not gonna lie. I liked it at least. It's definitely a classic shonen harem anime for sure. But at the same time, like it's very, very much fantasy based, like D&D. Like it's very, very D&D esque, like extremely so. Um, like level ups mean a huge amount, which is very much more like 3.5 than it is like 5e. Like the system in Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Very long title. Yeah, it's very 3.5 esque. And one cool thing that they do in it is the main character's level pretty much always matches the season that he's in. So whatever season it is the level of the main character. Like he basically levels up at the end of every season, which I think is kind of a cool little thing that they do. Yeah, just sort of a fun little nod that they do, which I like. Anime is great for Magic System WoW. 100%. I love I'm a huge anime fan, and it fits really well with D&D and stuff. It's hit and miss though. Yeah, 100%. There's Freerin, and then there's Isekai Smartphone. Not familiar with the Isekai Smartphone, but I've watched a lot of Isekai anime. Isekai tends to go. There tends to be a lot of overlap between Isekai and fantasy worlds. So the real common one. Hey Mitch, busy with my elderly mom today. Would have been here sooner. All good. I said that. Everett say here. All good. All good, Everett, man. Hope your mom's doing well and all that. Yes, some other good anime that have been like fantasy based, like Gate. Gate's a really good one. It's a bit of a dark one, but it is a really good one. Like it's basically, what if there was a gate that connected our modern world to a fantasy world, and like you can just travel between that gate, and it does a really good job of like giving a pretty realistic approach, a very realistic idea of what would happen if that happened. I mean, is it perfect? No, but I think a lot of what they do is correct. Like, yeah, initially we just march in and freaking slaughter whatever armies they throw at us, and then from there we try, and then once the things die down and the other side starts to realize what they're up against, we try and like make peace. once they stop being so aggressive. Machine guns versus orcs. Yes, please. Yeah, that is literally Gate. That's literally like the first several episodes of Gate is like machine guns versus orcs, and like machine guns versus like medieval soldiers with like, and there's magic in this other world too, but like the machine guns and like the tanks and the planes and stuff that are just flying through, they're decimating these fantasy armies because there's just not that much magic. But I've seen the first little bit of it, and it starts getting to the point where this mage girl who's from the other side in the fantasy world, she starts to like learn about like how physics works, and she uses that to make her magic just stupidly powerful. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she at some point starts being able to literally make nukes with her magic. Like, it's so like she's like very much friendly, but like at the same time, like I could see her overpowering a lot of the modern guys, just because she learns modern. She's read a bunch of our books, and has learned physics and stuff, and through her understanding of like how physics works, she's been able to use that and manipulate it with magic in order to just do some absolutely insane things, which in a world where magic does work, and if one of those mages freaking learned advanced physics, you can imagine they would get far more powerful and would be able to overpower like modern militaries because they could just freaking make nukes with their magic. It's a really good anime. I rather enjoy it. I haven't seen her do anything that crazy yet, but she's moving in that direction for sure. I'm an Army veteran. Gate. Gate. This is the SDF bot. There is Awesome Slop. I wouldn't consider this slop, to be honest, but I'm not an Army veteran, but like I think you would probably agree with at least some of the stuff in there. And I think some of it's contrived, like the main guy that they have leading the Japanese Defense Force is a complete weeb. Like the guy is just an absolute massive otaku, and like he's like, oh my god, elf girls, he's freaking out about that, and like the women in that are like, dude, just they're just giving them like these death glares. Like, I find that like funny, and I think it's contrived that he ended up like leading this, but at the same time, like aside from your basic kind of contrived stuff that you're going to see from any fantasy like any fictional show, even realistic ones, it's as realistic as an anime about a world where a gate connects the modern world to a fantasy world. And it's just one random gate in the middle of Tokyo, like in just some random intersection in Tokyo. So I don't know, it's a good anime. I rather like it, and it's a really good fantasy anime, which is one of my favorite genres. Like I love D&D, like, and having anime that match that, and like I like anime that match the leveling system, that have like leveling systems in them too. I find that really cool. I think it's really cool when like the character can see like a level up tree. I like that personally. And then they can like see what they're leveling up, and like the slime anime is pretty cool like that. Like that time I got reincarnated as a slime, just the main slime anime. They've made several other ones which are less good, but some of them are okay. There's one where a guy like starts a business using slimes, but also adventures. I like that one too. I forget what it's called. It's a good anime though. At least I liked it. I like a lot of things that people consider slop, but not everything. Some stuff I'm just like, eh. Fantasy is my favorite genre though, like hands down. For anime, D&D, You can't beat records of Lotus War. I don't think I've seen that one video idea. Best feat for each class, like natural spells for druids, like natural spells for druids. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, that'd be one video probably, and just probably just go over the 11 base classes in Player's Handbook. Maybe I could push it to a few other splat books. Hard to say, but at least the main ones would be a decent video. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all. Yeah, let's see if I can. Let's see, what would I come up with for that? Barbarian power attack. I think I gotta go power attack just off rip. That one's just really good for barbarians. Bard. Ooh. I forget what it's called, but there's like lyric. What was it called? There's a really good one for bards. Cancel singing. Let's see if I melodic casting. That's what it was called. So Bard's melodic casting would probably be best. Let's see. I don't have my Player's Handbook in front of me, so I'm trying to just remember all the classes in order. Cleric. Ooh, Cleric's a tricky one. I don't know what I'd pick for Cleric. Divine Meta Magic potentially. And then, or at the very least, either Divine Meta Magic or, it'd have to be a Divine Meta Magic stuff, or it'd have to be one of the Devotion feats. Yeah, it'd have to be one of those, I think. Let's see, Druid, like you were saying, natural spell, definitely good for Druid. Fighter, I don't even know, man. That one's hard. Probably weapon specialization. It's fighter unique. I don't know. That one's tough. Because, I mean, what's even good for fighters? Let's see. Trying to make sure I don't forget anything. I think Paladin. Paladin's a tricky one. Let's circle back to Paladin. I'm not sure what the best one for that is. Maybe you guys have some ideas. Ranger. That's another tough one. I know there's a really good one. I just can't remember it off rip. And then Sorcerer, Wizard are tricky ones. UMD for Warlock. Use Magic. That's not a feat. That's a skill. But UMD is a... I'm assuming you mean use magic device. Let's see. Warlocks aren't one of the 11 either. That's one of the auxiliary ones that is in Complete Arcane. It's in Complete Arcane, so it's not one of the 11 base classes. It's a base class, but it's not one of the core base classes. It is very popular, and it's the only base class that was added in 5e because just how good a job they did with Warlock. Because the base classes in 5e are literally just the same months from 3.5 plus Warlock. But Wizard and Sorcerer are a bit tricky as well because I don't know. There's just so many options for those guys, especially Wizard. Sorcerer, I don't have as much experience with it. The core base classes are OP allegedly. Some of them Fighter and Monk, not so much. Oh yeah, I missed Monk. Monk, I guess Stunning Fist, kind of. I don't know. Monk's a tough one. Stunning Fist, it's a prestige, it's a feat that's better if you're Monk because you get more uses out of it. Your uses per day of Stunning Fist is equal to your monk level plus 1/3 your other class level plus 1/3 non-monk hit dice. So yeah, monk is just better for stunning fist, but I don't know. Stunning fist on its own isn't the greatest. Uh, natural spells is really good. If you go the Book of Exalted Deeds route, you can wild shape into a blink tongue. Yeah, a wild spell is absolutely great for druids. It's almost a must-have because it lets you cast while wild shaped. Like that's a really big deal. I mean, you can still sort of cast without it, but it gets a little trickier. Verbal components are often a problem for druids while they're wild shaped, and somatic components often as well. Kind of depends a little bit. I mean, I guess if you did like a master of many forms and transformed into a part parrot, part monkey, you could cast while in wild shape in that particular form without having to worry about taking the feat. But at that point, just why? Like it would work, but why? You know what I mean? So yeah. And the reason why I say part parrot, part monkey, you know, the parrot can, as a parrot, you don't have to worry about verbal components because parrots are able to speak, or like a raven, if you transform into that, you could probably still speak like a human because those animals are capable of that. And monkeys, and you have hands like monkeys and can do the somatic components. So yeah, but the thing is, why would you want to do that? I mean, I guess instead of a monkey, you could go giant. Maybe that's probably a better option. But still, let's see. There is this feat for paladins that lets you cast buff spells as a swift action. Yeah, actually, it's not even just buff spells, just any paladin spells as a swift action. Forgot about that one. Yeah, that would definitely be like the one to take for paladin. And interestingly enough, paladin geomancer with that could be kind of really powerful, depending on if your DM ruled that using geomancer you could then cast other non-paladin spells with that, assuming you had at least one level, assuming you were able to cast spells as a paladin. So you not just one level in paladin. I think you need 4, because a 3rd level paladin is not a caster. A 4th level paladin is, though. But if your DM rolled that, yeah, you could potentially be casting wizard spells as swift actions using that. That's the whole thing. I've actually made a whole build based off of that. It's not the most playable build. It's at level 20, it's really strong, but you are going to be underpowered for most levels. It's not going to be until you get pretty high levels that your character really becomes playable. Like there's going to be a real slog between 5th and 15th level, or yeah, between 5th and 15th levels. It's going to be real brutal. Your character's not going to be very good, but you will eventually get really, really strong with this build, because I think I made this build so that like you end up with full 4 iteratives still, because you get a base attack bonus of 16 at 20th level, and then you also get full arcane and divine casting, so you get 9th level spells of both of those. Yeah, it's really strong. Like you get so much at 20th level, but you end up pretty weak for a really long time. It uses a lot of cheese. Yeah, a lot of cheese. Yeah, I think it's like freaking Sublime Chord, and then I think it's Sublime Chord, and then it's what is the Void Mage or whatever. I forget what it's called, but it's like the Aura Priest. That's what it is. Yeah, the Aura Priest, in order to get your casting like, yeah, Sublime Chord or Priest, and then you mix that with Mystic the Urge in order, or actually not even Mystic the Urge, you mix that with like, what is it? Vocal and Lyrist. Like you mix so much different craziness. It gets insane. This build is absolutely just a crazy hodgepodge of just random dips that don't seem to work very well together. And then all of a sudden you get to like 20th level and it all kind of comes together in this crazy mix match. And I mean, it starts to around like 15th-ish level. But yeah, it's a weird build. Everything comes together, but it is just this weird hodgepodge mismatch of things that don't really fit that well together. And then it's a very much a charisma based class. But you're right, that feat is extremely good. Probably end this here in a little bit. I mean, we're already past the 2.5, but like I said, I'm going to go a little bit long because we lost a few minutes because my power went out multiple times during the early parts of the stream. It actually went out twice. So like it went out for a second, which is like, dang, now I got to wait for my internet and everything to pop back up. And like while I was waiting for that, it went out again. So I had to start over on all that. So that kind of sucked. That was a whole thing. So yeah, I'll go for a little bit longer. I mean, we're already 17 minutes past what I was planning on ending. But yeah, that was just a crazy build that I came up with. Good Lord, was it an insane one? I've come up with some pretty crazy stuff. I had a friend help me with that one too. It was not all me. Like I would be lying if I said I did that by myself. But yeah, but I know which speech you're talking about with. I forget the name, but I know which one you're talking about. His name Daniel Martin on. Daniel Martin. I don't even know where to go with that. I don't even know what the rest is. Daniel Martin. After that, the letters kind of blur together, and I can't quite tell where the spaces would be if it wasn't all one word. So yeah, not sure on that. But yeah, you're right on that. And also, welcome in, by the way. Try to call out the name. But yeah, it isn't a bad idea for a video. I have to put a little bit of thought into it because, Wizard be one of the trickier ones because it's just such a good class, and there's not any like real like must-have feat for wizards that I can think of. Well, kind of. I guess like eschew materials kind of is. It probably would be eschew materials in all honesty for wizards, and probably sorcerers as well. That's just a pretty good feat. Although then again, is it? Because you can just get an item for relatively cheap that's just as good. I always thought paladins should be a prestige class for knights and fighters. I mean, kind of. They're kind of their own thing, though. Knights, the knight prestige class. Not prestige, just the knight class. Where do I even start with that one? I happen to have the right book for it, so that's something. It's not great. Actually, do I have the right book? Swashbuckler, samurai, hexblade. Huh. It's not in the warrior. Interesting. Not sure which book it is in then. But yeah, knight's not a good class. It's kind of problematic. Poorly designed player's handbook too makes sense. I will say, its 17th level ability is one of the best abilities in the game. But there are things that are close to it, and 17 levels in a very weak class is nowhere near worth it for even an ability that's that good. And really, it's very simple. A nat 1 on a save is just a 1. It's not a nat 1. And yeah, that is literally all it is. But that is extremely good, especially, on your charisma stacking save builds, where you get stupid high saves. If you were to put, the knight's 17th level ability on that is really powerful. That said, if you were to go factotum, I think factotum's probably the only way to do it. There might be, I think there's a couple other prestige classes that can do it. Well, factotum's base class. But if you were to go like factotum, or there's some other prestige classes that let you copy abilities from other classes, that could be very good to copy the knight's 17th level ability, because that plus charisma stacking of saves basically just means you never fail saves. Because, unless the save DC is stupid high, you just auto pass it, because a nat 1 is just a 1. So, if your lowest if your save, if your base save is, higher than, the DC, then you just pass. Or if it's lower than it, but by 1, then you still pass, because 1 is good enough. Like if the DC's, 55 and you have a 54, then you're going to auto pass because, I rolled a 1. Well, that's a 55, so you just barely made it. Good enough. Barely, but good enough. Now, if you're in the barely situation, I think, man, I need to get that up. So it's not barely anymore. I don't have, and, I don't, and I'm not in a situation where I'm starting to have a chance of failure. But it's not great. It's got one good ability, but it takes way too long to get. Emulating it from another class or prestige class is the better way to go. And there are a couple that I know that'll do that. Like the factotum, I believe, can emulate class abilities. I don't know if it can emulate the knight's 17th level one, because it's like really high level. And if it can, you probably have to take a ton of levels of factotum. But at the same time, a ton of levels of factotum's not that bad. Is it going to fit well with a charisma stacking build? No, not at all. But, it's not going to be as bad as the knight. The knight's just really problematic. In a lot of the prestige classes that are have the word knight in them, a lot of them aren't very good either. There's a couple that are good, or at least not bad, but a lot of them aren't great. I believe the Knight Protector and the Complete Warrior, not great. They tried to make a MMO tank. Too bad. Nice challenge sucks. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It does suck. And even the Knight Protector in the there's a few, the Knight of the Chalice is decent, but the Knight Protector, it's not great. It's just not great. It's okay, but it's not good. Knight of the Chalice is actually one of the better classes that has the word knight in it, or prestige classes. It gets a decent amount of casting, and Fiend Slaying, Holy Aura. It gets some okay stuff. It's far from amazing, but it's all right. It's all right. There's better, but that one's one that's usable. And then there's a knight one. There's, I think the Anointed Knight. I think in the Book of Exalted Deeds, that one can be kind of good. That's probably one of the best knight prestige classes. Not saying it's good, but it's all right. Like it's very much usable. Like there are reasons why you might want to put it on a build. I've looked into it for builds in the past. Um, it's pretty niche. It's not one you're going to put on most builds, but it's not bad. Like there's some prestige classes that are just really solid generally, like um, the Archmage. That's just a really solid prestige class to put on, your arcane casters. It's not a lot of downsides to it. Yeah, you have to wait a while to take it, but there's not really any downsides to it. Um, yeah, it's pretty solid. And then like basically any prestige class that gets full casting is going to be a pretty solid one to take. Clerics and wizards are generally going to want to take a bunch of prestige classes that give full casting. Like if you're a cleric, if you're playing a cleric or a wizard, you want to look at all the prestige classes that grant full casting, and you're going to want to take as many of those as possible and as few of levels of cleric or wizard as possible, and just try and focus on these prestige classes because you don't lose much for them. As a cleric, you lose the potency of your turn undead, but not the number of uses. But turn undead for itself kind of sucks. You're better off doing using your charges of turn undead for other stuff. Wizards, you lose your bonus feat every 5th level, and you also lose like the abilities that your familiar gains, but that's not that big a deal. Sorcerers, same, but sorcerers just aren't as good of a class. Druids are as good of a class, but they're going to lose their wild shape generally, and they're also going to lose their animal companion progression. Like they're not losing the ability to wild shape unless they take it too early, but they're going to lose, the progression of it. It's not going to get better, and they're not going to get, and their animal companion is going to stop progressing. So those are real downsides for the druid. Whereas the cleric and the wizard's downsides is pretty minimal. Pretty much any prestige class that gives full casting advancement is going to give more than what the cleric and the wizard lose. So they typically want a prestige class as much as possible. Or a priest is pretty cool. Oh yeah, or a priest is amazing. It's or priest and sublime chord are like the go-tos for making Gish builds usually. Like if you're trying to make a Gish build, those are generally what you're going to want to look at. And I made a Gish the Urge that uses both of those, and it is really freaking good. I did manage to make a Gish the Urge using both of those. It took a lot of cheese to pull off, but I did manage to get 9th level spells in both Arcane and Divine, as well as a base attack bonus of 16 at 20th level. It took some doing, though. But yeah, it does require Ur Priest and Sublime Chord and a lot of cheese. Lots and lots of cheese. Anyways, I think I'm going to end it off here. I mean, we went an extra half hour. I think we lost like 15 minutes because of the storm. So you guys got a little bit of extra content despite, having lost some. You gained more than you lost. That's just me kind of making it up for, the fact that there was a storm that knocked out my power and messed up the live stream early on. So that's a thing. We're probably going to end it here. Appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out. Kobanizer, Daniel Martin, Snag Wolf, everyone else who is here, Everett, there are definitely more people. Matthew, just kind of swinging through things. J-Knot, just everybody hanging out. Appreciate everyone being here. And But anyways, I will see you guys Wednesday for the next live stream. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.